Hello, everybody out there in YouTube world, Facebook world, social media world, the world, everywhere you can see this video at. So I'm going to do another video here today. I wanted to give everybody an update on what's going on with the gunfight out in California. But as always, before I do, click subscribe if you like what I have to say. It really helps out the channel. Click subscribe, click the little bell for the notifications. Give me likes, dislikes, comments, share the page. All of that stuff is very beneficial to me, so I really appreciate everybody doing that for me if they can. So I promised everybody I'd do an update on what's going on with the gun situation, and we have an update coming out of our favorite anti-gun state, California. Okay, so I did a video a couple of weeks ago, actually just a few days ago, I think maybe a week ago, where I talked about what's going on with gun shops. Are they essential? Are they not essential? And just a quick recap, as you recall, if you're in a pro-gun state, most of the pro-gun states are declaring gun shops to be essential. So Florida, Texas, places like that are all declaring gun shops to be essential. The federal government, under their guidelines and advisory sheet, have declared gun shops to be essential, okay? But as we know, and as we talked about before, there are a lot of anti-gun states, so California, Jersey, Pennsylvania, places like that, where they are declaring gun shops to not be essential, and they are ordering them to be closed during the lockdown. And when I spoke last week, I talked about there's hope for people in those states that are closing the gun shops, because those states, all right, again, we don't edit here, so when weird things happen with the computer, it stays on the video. So in those states, if it's an anti-gun state and the governor or the local municipalities were closing down those shops, you had a bunch of lawsuits started. So I read an article at the last video about a week ago about California. So out in California, the NRA, the Gun Owners Association of America, all these different groups filed basically a class action lawsuit against the state of Florida, or state of California. And the governors out there and the state and local people out there saying, hey, you can't close down these gun shops. You can't just declare them to be non-essential. It's a violation of the Second Amendment, et cetera, et cetera. And that lawsuit was going to work its way through the system, as I said. Well, the first step is always you got to go straight to just a single local judge, okay, like a district judge. So the way the appeals process works, and again, I'm a lawyer, so I'm not just spouting off, but basically in the federal system, you start with a local district court judge, then it goes up to an appellate court, then it goes up to like a district appellate court, and then it can go up to the Supreme Court. So right now, it's only at a local district judge level. It's the first stop that you have to come to. So they filed this lawsuit last week. It went to the first judge on the chain, or up the chain, and guess what happens? Can anybody take a guess at what the ruling was or what the outcome is on that? Well, obviously, you can tell by the tone of my voice, you don't have to take a guess on that. I'll read you the updated here. Okay, this is from Breitbart. Breaking news. California gun store closures do not infringe rights of ordinary people, judge rules in California. So United States District Judge Andre Barotti Jr. ruled on Monday afternoon that the closure of gun stores resulting from California Governor Gavin Newsom's executive order does not infringe the rights of, quote, ordinary people. Barot's ruling came after the NRA, Second Amendment Foundation, California Gun Rights Coalition, and Firearm Policy Coalition filed a suit over California gun store closures and referenced 3 emergency orders, all issued on March 19th, 2020. One order was issued by Governor Newsom, another by Los Angeles County, and yet another by Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti. He ruled, okay, and I'm just going to read you the little paragraph that they put in here that kind of sums up what his position is. Obviously, I think his position is bullshit. Most of you who watch this channel are probably going to think that it's bullshit, but I want to give you an idea of what his thinking is when he made this ruling so we can all agree that it's bullshit, okay? In applying intermediate scrutiny to the county and city ordiners, the court must consider, 1, whether the government's stated objective is significant, substantial, or important, and 2, whether there is a reasonable fit between the challenged regulation and the asserted objective. The city and county stated objective, reducing the spread of COVID-19, a highly dangerous and infectious disease, undoubtedly constitutes an important government objective. Moreover, because this disease spreads where, quote, an infected person coughs, sneezes, or otherwise expels aerosolized droplets containing the virus, the closure of non-essential businesses, including firearms and ammunition retailers, reasonably fits the city's and council's stated objectives of reducing the spread of the disease. Accordingly, plaintiffs failed to demonstrate a likelihood of success on the merits of the Second Amendment claim against the county and city orders. He added, plaintiffs likely cannot show that the orders failed to give ordinary people fair notice of what conduct is prohibited or invite arbitrary enforcement. Then, of course, it goes on to tell you that this person was appointed by, anybody want to guess? Anyone want to guess? Bueller, Barack Hussein Obama. So, there you go. I don't think anybody thought that this was going to come out any differently. I don't think anybody thought that out in California that the first level district judge was not going to strike down their lawsuit. So this isn't come a surprise to anybody, I don't think. But I wanted to give everybody an update because I told everybody I'd keep them up to speed on everything. I'd apprise them of the situation. And obviously, as it clearly indicates in the article, and as we all know, the ruling's going to end up being appealed. It's going to go to the United States Court of Appeals, but the one that's out in California is what they call the Ninth Circuit, and what a lot of us refer to as the Ninth Circus Court of Appeals, because that's where all the crazy rulings come out of. They get overturned more than any other circuit in the country. There have been a lot of inroads into that circuit, though. Since Trump took office, he's actually appointed quite a few conservative judges to that circuit. I think more than any other circuit out there, if I'm not mistaken. He's actually rotated a lot of those people out and put some new people in there. So I guess it's entirely possible that when it goes to the Ninth Circuit, depending on the rotation of judges that get put in to hear this case, you may get some Trump-appointed judges who are going to end up being on this case, and maybe they'll win at the circuit level. I suspect, though, like most of these cases that come out of the Ninth Circuit, is going to be upheld. In other words, the judge's ruling is going to be upheld, and they're going to say that it's okay to shut these stores down. And then, of course, they'll appeal to the Supreme Court. It seems like it's going on a pretty quick track, though, because that was really fast. I think they only filed that lawsuit maybe last Thursday, I want to say, is when I did the video on it. So it's been less than a week. They got in front of a judge and got a ruling. So they're clearly expediting the issue. So hopefully they continue to expedite it and we can get up to the circuit court, and then maybe we'll get lucky there again, depending on who the appointees come in, and then it'll go over to the Supreme Court. But as I said before, I'm thankful that here in Florida we have a pro-Second Amendment governor, and I congratulate all of you who live in the states that have pro-Second Amendment governors and state and local representatives that aren't going to pass these kind of draconian things and decide that gun shops, just because of political reasons, aren't or should be closed. I know some people are going to be out there and say, well, what makes them more special than, restaurants or insurance companies or all these other people that close? And of course, I would say what everybody always says is, look, you have a Second Amendment right to have firearms. You don't have a Second Amendment right, or you don't have a constitutional right to insurance or restaurants or anything. So it is a fundamental right that they would be shutting down more so than any other right. You could, of course, look, devil's advocate, so is the right to assemble. I mean, we have the right to assemble in this country as well under the Constitution, yet they're shutting that down by telling you can't be in groups of 10 or even less in some places now. Now, I repeatedly said, also believe those are unconstitutional, but there's no right to assemble advocate groups who are going to file lawsuits to open up, other places, or to say that it's okay to have more than 10 people in a spot, because there's just no such thing as of the National Assembly Association, like the NAA or something like that. It doesn't exist. So you're not going to have an issue like that. But we do, thankfully, again, have advocates in the Second Amendment Foundation. So they're fighting the good fight. They're going to push it all the way up. This isn't to be... It's to be expected. It's not an unexpected result. I don't want anybody out there to get down on themselves or get upset about it. They did it in California. Obviously, they had to, because that's the state that shut it down. So you're going to get California rulings all the way up the chain until you get over to the Supreme Court. And hopefully the two new people that Trump put in there recently will turn the tide on that, and we'll get a better ruling as we come down the road. In the meantime, if you live in a anti-Second Amendment state and you're really pro-Second Amendment, perhaps you should consider moving to a pro-Second Amendment state, or trying to get more involved in firearms. I don't know why anybody who's a conservative or a libertarian or a rugged individualist, or certainly a Second Amendment owner, would be living in California. It's just, it's amazing to me that you would do that, especially when you can just move right next door to Texas. And we need you to do that because we've got to keep Texas from going blue, because the people that are moving from California to Texas aren't the conservative ones, it's the liberal ones, because whole nother video, they want to get away from their own taxes, but then they move to another state and change it. Trust me, as a Floridian, I understand that concept. So if you're in one of those states, look, move. That's all I can say, or get more involved or donate more money to these organizations so they can keep doing these things. But that's just a quick update. It's just breaking news. It came across the wire. I want to do a quick video to recap on it. So keep up with it. Keep checking it out if you need to. As I see updates and I get them across, I'll crank out quick little videos to bring people up to speed. But there you have it. District judge in California says you do not have a right to run your gun shop, to buy a firearm, to buy ammunition, or do anything like that during a virus lockdown, because it is not essential, and you're just an ordinary person, and you got to do what your government overlords tell you to do. So there you go. For those of you who live in California and the non-gun essential states, I feel for you. I apologize, and I hope it works out for you in the future. The rest of us in the other states, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, stay open if you can, and as always, carry on.